Thank you so much for the very nice introduction. So, I've been looking forward to giving this talk all week. It's one of my favorite talks to give. So, essentially, this is going to be Space Cyber HCI edition. So, first, before we get started, I will say that I do have this on presentation mode so that I could be mindful of the time because I do want to give ample time for discussions. I would love to hear your questions, comments, and concerns alike. And in addition to that, I would like to give a heartfelt thank you to Jessica for organizing this and for giving me a platform, and for Paris for all her amazing coordinations. And it's an honor and a privilege to be here with y'all, albeit virtually. So, first things first is space exploration represents one of humanity's most audacious endeavors, though I'm sure y'all already knew that. It combines cutting-edge technology with extraordinary human resilience and adaptability. And as missions reach farther from the International Space Station to lunar habitats and eventually Mars, the complexity, risk, and operational challenges escalate dramatically. So, historically, spacecraft systems were relatively simple, operating, monitoring a limited number of telemetry channels and commanding systems directly. But today, that's clearly not the case. Our efforts have scaled upward quite a bit, haven't they? We have satellite mega constellations, robotic explorers, and crewed habitats that generate vast streams of data, often overwhelming operators tasked with monitoring, diagnosis, and control under severe constraints. And adding on to this complexity, communication latency ranging from milliseconds in low Earth orbit to 20 plus minutes one way for Mars missions precludes real time human control in many situations. Operators must often rely on autonomous systems whose decisions must be trusted and understood despite potentially opaque AI logic. So, simultaneously, cyber physical threats have increased in scale and sophistication. You got jamming, spoofing, and malware attack spacecraft system, threatening mission integrity and crew safety. Extended reality technologies, including augmented, virtual, and mixed, offer a solution by immersing operators in intuitive, spatially contextualized interfaces. XR transforms flat data into 3D visualization, situating critical information adjacent to physical or virtual assets, leveraging human spatial cognition to reduce mental effort and improve situational awareness. Yet, XR alone is insufficient. Who would have known? Artificial intelligence systems analyze vast data streams to detect anomalies, predict failures, and recommend mitigations. Explainable AI is critical here, providing transparent decision rationales that enable operators to understand, trust, and intervene with necessary. And moreover, integrating physiological sensing technologies such as, pupil dilation, eye tracking, heart rate variability, and galvanic skin response enables real-time estimation of operator cognitive load and stress. This feedback informs adaptive XR interfaces that dynamically adjust complexity, prioritization, and alerting to maintain operator performance and well being. Now, all this to say, our goal here is to empower operators with tools that ensure they remain effective and trusted decision makers in increasingly autonomous and complex mission environments. So, astronauts and mission control operators manage complex spacecrafts and systems in conditions of extreme stress, isolation, and high operational demands. Recent studies reveal that astronauts often experience subtle but meaningful declines in several cognitive domains during long duration missions. Specifically, processing speed, visual working memory, sustained attention, and risk taking propensity can be impaired, particularly early in flight and during readaptation post flight. These decrements, sometimes colloquially referred to as brain fog, are attributed to spaceflight hazards such as microgravity radiation exposure and disrupted circadian rhythm, as well as social isolation and emotional distress. While often mild and reversible, the timing and severity can jeopardize mission critical performance. Moreover, astronauts multitask continuously, coping with sensory motor adaptation demands that consume neural resources otherwise needed for supervisory control. Empirical results indicate increased dual tasking difficulty, higher error rates in visual tracking, and degraded simultaneous cognitive and motor task performance in flight and after, and on Earth, such as teleoperation of robotic explorers and real time anomaly diagnosis, similarly impose high cognitive workload exacerbated by communication latency and fragmented sensory inputs. Yeah, this is crazy, isn't it? And adding insult to injury, you have this phenomenon of alert fatigue, where operators become desensitized to frequent routine or false alarms, further risks diminishing situational awareness and timely responses to critical events. But here is what we are proposing as a solution. Our AI-Augmented XR framework is designed with these constraints in mind, deploying physiological workload sensing, explainable AI decision aids, and immersive visualizations to maintain human effectiveness as mission complexity scales. Cognitive load is not static. It fluctuates based on task complexity, environmental factors, operator state, and system interaction. Optimal cognitive load zones exist where operators perform efficiently, maintaining situational awareness and reserving capacity to adapt to unexpected events. However, workload outside this zone can compromise effectiveness. Moreover, cognitive fatigue accumulates over time, especially during prolonged or high stress operations in isolated, confined space environments. Fatigue decreases resilience, attention span, and working memory. It's also influenced by individual differences. Operator experience, stress tolerance, and physical health shape workload resilience. Monitoring must account for these variations to personalize support effectively. Measurement of cognitive load employs subjective scales. For example, I'm sure all of y'all are familiar with the NASA Task Load Index or the NASA TLX. Behavioral observations and increasingly physiological metrics like pupil dilation, heart rate variability, and EEG. And effective workload management requires dynamic systems capable of monitoring operator state in real time, which adapts information presentation, prioritizes alerts, and recommending tasks redistribution or automation where it's appropriate. Why not help them help you, right? So, with that being said, space missions therefore demand advanced technologies like AI augmented XR platforms integrated with physiological sensing that maintain cognitive load within safe bounds, preserving operator efficacy and mission safety. So, throughout this talk, we will explore how our framework addresses these cognitive load challenges, transforming threat-laden, high-complexity space operations into manageable, human-centered missions. Our first case comes from the Interstellar Research Network, a trailblazer headquartered in Palo Alto. They developed Astro AI, an AI-powered autonomous control system for deep space probes, which analyzes massive telemetry data, predicts systems faults, autonomously reroutes mission execution, and even commands onboard robotics for maintenance. This autonomy is vital when communication latency exceeds tens of minutes, taking or making immediate ground control impossible. The true breakthrough is the incorporation of explainable AI modules, though. Instead of opaque automation, human operators receive clear rationales for AI decisions through immersive XR dashboards. This fosters trust, facilitating a human-in-the-loop approach vital in high-stakes exploration environments. Next, Orbital Insight's Terra Mapper represents AI's unparalleled value in planetary mapping, which it's a deep learning system that dramatically accelerates geological analysis by automating terrain feature extraction and resource identification from rover and satellite data. 70% faster processing, improved precision, enabled groundbreaking discoveries like the water ice deposits on Mars, which is critical for the future crewed missions. In our XR environments, such datasets are spatialized to create interactive 3D maps that astronauts and ground teams can intuitively explore, easing cognitive load and informing safer, faster decision making. On the health and system status front, Stellar Health Tech's AstroVigil blends spacecraft telemetry with real-time crew physiological indicators, heart rate variability, skin conductance to predict maintenance needs before failures escalate. And by decreasing unscheduled maintenance events by 50%, this reduces crew cognitive and physical workload, exemplifying the integration of physiological sensing, AI, and adaptive alerting that our framework uses to maintain operating well-being. But wait, there is more, in the words of Billy Mays. The MarsNav AI by Red Planet Robotics advances autonomous rover navigation using onboard cameras and sensors processed through machine learning models to generate 3D terrain maps and dynamically plan safe travel routes. What do we have here? Increased rovers traverse distance by 30% and data collection efficiency by 40%. Lastly, European Space Agency's XR strategies exemplifies institutional recognition of XR's value for mission design, team collaboration, and operational support. It deploys standardized XR toolkits for immersive training, mission rehearsal, and situational awareness improvements across human and robotic missions. But with all that said, these are all nice bells and whistles, aren't they? But they also reveal critical challenges. Trust and explainability, psychological integration, latency resistance, and multimodal data fusion. That is what our framework addresses. So, while signals travel near 300 million meters per second, vast distances mean delays of several seconds for the moon and up to 20 minutes or more for Mars round trip. This delay renders real-time Earth-based control and innovation impossible for many mission-critical scenarios, and consequently, spacecraft and crew must assume greater autonomy in managing operations, requiring onboard decision-making systems capable of executing tasks, diagnosing anomalies, and responding promptly to emergencies without ground intervention. This transition elevates the importance of AI-based autonomous control and robust threat detection systems on board. Security threats have also become increasingly sophisticated, as I said earlier. These include jamming and spoofing attacks that target spacecraft communication links, denial of service intrusions, malware, and data compromise attempts on onboard systems as well as the ground communications. But to counteract these, lightweight adaptive cryptographic protocols and anomaly detection algorithms must be deployed on board with limited computational overhead. Reinforcement learning agents offer promising avenues to dynamically adjust encryption parameters and perform threat isolation. Furthermore, spacecraft communication architectures are evolving towards store and forward delay tolerant networking protocols explicitly designed for deep space conditions, balancing latency, bandwidth, and reliability. These architectures emphasize data prioritization and redundancy to preserve mission-critical information flow despite disruptive conditions and adversarial threats. All this increasing autonomy, however, raises yet another challenge: maintaining trusted human-in-the-loop control. Operators need explainable insights into autonomous systems decisions to assess reliability and maintain situational awareness under communication delay constraints. Our framework is inspired by and builds upon cutting-edge cognitive science models such as the skill, rule, and knowledge, or SRK taxonomy, which categorizes human cognitive control into three hierarchical levels: skill-based, actions are automatic, habitual behaviors; rule-based, actions involve applying learned procedures; and knowledge-based, actions require analytical problem solving and decision making. This helps us understand how operators transition between cognitive modes under varying workload and complexity, a critical insight when designing adaptive systems. Core components of the framework include multimodal sensing, adaptive AI modules, extended reality interfaces, orbital cyber range simulations, continuous feedback and adaptation. Through rigorous simulation hardware-in-the-loop experiments and human subject testing, our framework enables resilient and trusted human-machine partnerships essential for increasingly autonomous and complex space mission demands. XR technologies support human-in-the-loop operations by offering immersive, spatially contextualized interfaces that reduce cognitive load, improve decision-making, and enhance collaboration across physically dispersed teams. Joint AR overlays vital information, such as life support consumables, navigation cues, and dynamic procedural updates directly onto astronauts' field of view, reducing reliance on physical manuals and radio communication. This capability drastically improves situational awareness and cognitive throughput, essential when communication latency with Earth ranges into minutes. It empowers astronauts to make critical decisions locally, supported but not constrained by ground teams. Furthermore, XR systems enable collaborative training and mission rehearsal, linking distributed crews and mission control personnel into synchronized virtual simulations. This fosters team cohesion, refines procedures, and allows rehearsing responses to contingencies in high-fidelity virtual environments. Hardware-in-the-loop XR simulators integrate real spacecraft hardware with virtual sensors and interfaces, offering astronauts hands-on experience with upcoming mission systems before field deployment. These simulators enhance operator confidence, skill transfer, and procedural fluency. In addition, XR platforms support the integration of physiological data streams, providing biofeedback to adapt interfaces dynamically. For example, an AR display could reduce alert density or simplify visuals during periods of high operator stress, mitigating cognitive overload. XR for human-in-the-loop also extends to robotic teleoperation, where immersive interfaces enable intuitive remote control of surface rovers and manipulators with fine motor precisions and enhanced situational awareness. Yeah, Elon Musk's fighting robots aren't just for kung fu fighting. But with that said, as autonomy in space grows, XR interfaces serve as critical human autonomy teaming enablers, maintaining operator situational awareness, supervisory control, and trust, even when AI performs complex tasks independently. So, all this to say, XR transforms human-in-the-loop paradigm by fusing immersive visualization, real-time physiological monitoring, and collaborative simulation, ensuring that human operators remain effective, informed, and empowered partners in complex space missions. Cybersecurity in space is not an abstract concern. It is a tangible and growing threat that jeopardizes the integrity and survivability of critical space assets. To proactively prepare operators, analysts, and engineers, the space community is developing specialized orbital cyber ranges, immersive simulation environments that replicate the physical and cyber operational ecosystem of space missions. Within these environments, cybersecurity effects, including, as I said before, jamming, spoofing, malware propagation, and denial of service attacks alike, can be injected, evaluated, and counteracted in controlled scenarios. These high-fidelity models allow teams to understand vulnerabilities, test response strategies, and train operational personnel responsibly. They also provide a research and development testbed to validate AI-enhanced cybersecurity tools, including our framework's explainable anomaly detection algorithms and resilience mechanisms. Cognitive load detection enables adaptive systems to respond in real time, adjusting interface complexity, alerting mechanisms, or task distribution to prevent overload or underload states. Measurement approaches span three broad categories: subjective measures operators, self-report workload during standardized scales like the NASA TLX or Bedford scale. While valuable for post-task assessment, these scales are impractical for real-time detection and may interfere with operations. Behavioral and task-based measures. These include performance metrics such as response time, accuracy, eye movement patterns, and secondary task performance. Behavioral indicators provide indirect insights into workload but can be confounded by task difficulty or strategy shifts. Physiological measures. Objective measurement increasingly focuses on physiological signals that correlate with cognitive load. For example, EEG captures the neural activity patterns reflective of mental effort. Eye tracking provides metrics like pupil size, blink rate, and fixation patterns, which you can get an idea of the attention and mental effort through that. Heart rate variability and galvanic skin response reflect autonomic nervous system activity. And the FNIRS, or functional near infrared spectroscopy, measures cortical oxygenation changes, and from that you can get an idea of executive function load, proving robust even under simulated microgravity. Advanced machine learning models such as LightGBM and support vector machines fuse these multimodal datasets, enabling real-time classification of cognitive load states with AUC scores exceeding 0.75 in experimental settings. Practical applications in space operations involve integrating these detection systems into XR interfaces, enabling dynamic adaptations such as simplifying displays or reducing alert rates during high load. And with all that said, cognitive load detection based on multimodal physiological sensing and AI classification forms an essential backbone for adaptive human-centered space operations frameworks, ensuring operators remain effective despite the immense cognitive demands inherent to the space environment. AI is proving indispensable in safeguarding these critical space assets. Traditional cybersecurity methods struggle to scale with the volume, velocity, and diversity of telemetry and command data flowing through satellite networks and space ground links. If y'all work in industrial control systems, y'all are aware that legacy systems are a honeypot for attackers. AI transforms this landscape by enabling real-time threat detection, autonomous response, and predictive maintenance across distributed and often communication-limited architectures. First, AI excels at real-time anomaly detection. Machine learning models continuously analyze vast telemetry streams to establish behavioral baselines for normal spacecraft operations. These adapt to changing mission phases, environmental noise, and sensor drift, dramatically reducing false positives. When deviations arise, such as, unusual command sequences, communication latency spikes, or unexplained sensor readings, AI flags these quickly. This includes detecting novel cyber intrusions like zero-day attacks or sophisticated persistent threats that evade traditional signature-based tools. Second, AI enables autonomous defense mechanisms on board. Due to Earth communication latency stretching into minutes or hours, immediate human intervention is impossible for deep space assets. Autonomous AI agents can quarantine compromised subsystems, reroute communications, increase encryption strength, or deploy patches instantly, limiting damage and preserving mission continuity. Third, predictive analytics forecast vulnerabilities and hardware degradation before failure or successful intrusion. By learning from historic telemetry, environmental conditions, and attack datasets, AI anticipates when components or software may be vulnerable, enabling preemptive countermeasures and scheduling maintenance windows. Fourth, AI facilitates collaborative cyber defense. By aggregating threat intelligence from multiple constellations, agencies, and commercial operators, AI synthesizes comprehensive situational awareness reports, accelerating cross-entity response to emerging threats and increasing collective resilience. Programs like DARPA's Blackjack demonstrate distributed AI-enabled satellite networks autonomously monitoring and protecting themselves from kinetic and cyber threats. Lockheed Martin and the European Space Agency's AI lab further pioneer onboard cognitive security, incorporating neural network models for anomaly detection and damage containment. Emerging research explores integrating quantum computing and blockchain with AI-driven cybersecurity to elevate defense speed, predictive reach, and data integrity across evolving space architectures. In summary, if you took nothing from the last minute or so, take this. AI is a cornerstone technology for secure space communications, offering agility, scalability, and autonomy urgently required to defend assets critical for scientific discovery, national security, and the global digital economy in space. As satellites and deep space probes become more intelligent and interconnected, AI will increasingly serve as their vigilant guardian, detecting, responding to, and recovering from cyber threats with unprecedented speed and accuracy. As space communication systems become more complex and autonomous, human operators face the challenge of understanding and trusting AI-driven decisions that manage critical spacecraft functions and cybersecurity defenses. Explainable artificial intelligence, or XAI, not Grok, explainable AI, offers a solution by providing transparency into AI models' reasoning processes, transforming the black box into an interpretable framework operators can confidently interact with. In the space domain, XAI is essential, but not only for fostering operator trust, but also for regulatory compliance, anomaly investigation, and mission assurance. A decision affecting spacecraft communication parameters, such as changing modulation schemes under signal fading, must be justifiable, especially in safety critical contexts. Recent advances demonstrate the application of neurosymbolic and statistical learning models in space communication signal processing capable of denoising, anomaly detection, and link optimization while offering human understandable explanations. Explainability tools include local and global interpretability techniques like SHAP values, LIME, and counterfactual explanations, which contextualize AI outputs in terms of input data perturbations or alternative decisions. Beyond terrestrial AI frameworks, XAI on satellites requires rigorous model compression and optimization to fit resource-constrained environments while maintaining fidelity and explainability. Explainable AI also supports space weather prediction and anomaly forecasting, where operators must trace forecasts to solar magnetic field data or radiation fluxes to validate alerts. In summary, explainable AI bridges the critical gap between AI autonomy and human oversight in space communications, empowering operators with clear, actionable insights that underpin trust, timely decision making, and mission resilience in an increasingly autonomous space environment. Multimodal integration, combining data from heterogeneous sources such as radio frequency signals, camera imagery, LiDAR, telemetry, and operator inputs, enables a richer, more robust understanding of the space environment and system status. Vision language models, or VLMs, represent a significant breakthrough in this domain. Originally developed in AI research to fuse visual and textual data streams, VLMs are neural architectures trained to understand the semantic relationships across modalities, enabling the contextual understanding that single modem systems lack. By extending VLM principles to space communications and sensor data, We empower AI systems to interpret complex scenes, for example, correlating satellite imagery with RF signal anomalies or integrating operator voice commands with telemetry alerts for rapid situation triage. State-of-the-art VLM-driven architectures use attention-based transformer models to align features extracted from different modalities, such as, combining RGB camera feeds with spectral sensor data while incorporating language annotations or operator notes. Semantic communication techniques further enhance efficiency by transmitting only task-critical information while preserving data privacy and minimizing bandwidth usage, a crucial benefit in the constrained space communication environment. In space mission contexts, VLM-enabled fusion enables enhanced anomaly detection by cross-validating sensor modalities, for example, matching visual signs of solar panel damage with thermal and electrical telemetry, more intuitive interactive XR interfaces presenting fused multimodal insights and operator-friendly spatial formats, improved predictive maintenance by integrating heterogeneous diagnostic data streams, greater robustness to sensor noise degradation and adversarial interference. Multimodal integration via VLMs thus becomes foundational to next generation space communication and control systems, providing the context aware, comprehensive situational intelligence that human operators and autonomous systems alike require in the dynamic and often harsh space domain. Key threat vectors include satellite hacking and command takeover. One of the most alarming threats is unauthorized access to spacecraft control systems. Cyber adversaries may infiltrate satellites via ground stations or communication links, issuing malicious commands that can disrupt, disable, or hijack critical assets. The 2022 cyber attack on Viasat's Ka-Sat satellite network, which severely disrupted European communications, exposed vulnerabilities in satellite network management. Also, signal interception, jamming, and spoofing. Adversaries exploit satellite signal transmission to intercept sensitive data, launch jamming campaigns that deny service or spoof navigation signals, degrading trust in critical services such as GPS. GPS spoofing incidents have impacted military and civilian navigation, sometimes with dangerous outcomes. There's also supply chain variabilities. The global and complex supply chain for space systems, encompassing hardware, software, and vendor services, introduces entry points for malware insertion, hardware trojans, and design tampering. The widespread adoption of commercial off-the-shelf or COTS components, while cost-effective, increases exposure to open vulnerabilities. Also, let's talk about denial of service attacks. By overwhelming communication channels or ground control servers with excessive traffic, DOS attacks can incapacitate satellite communications, delaying or preventing critical control commands. Legacy systems and inadequate cryptographic measures, like I said earlier, are a honeypot for attackers. They are ridden with attack vectors because many space systems rely on decades-old hardware and software lacking modern security frameworks. Encryption implementations are often insufficient to withstand emerging quantum computing threats, leaving communications vulnerable to interception and decryption. Not to mention, there is the human error and insider threats. Highly technical yet human-managed systems are prone to errors in configuration, patching, or access control, potentially enabling exploitation by threat actors. Insider threats also pose significant challenges due to privileged system access. And emerging advanced persistent threats, or APTs, state-sponsored actors often employ stealthy and sophisticated cyber attacks aiming for long-term infiltration and control over critical space assets, integrating cyber espionage and sabotage attacks. So, how do we address all these issues? To counter these threats, comprehensive defense in depth strategies must be embedded throughout the AI-Augmented XR framework. Our approach integrates AI-driven anomaly detection to identify subtle, novel attack patterns, explainable AI to maintain operator trust and decisions transparency, adaptive cryptographic protocols resilient to quantum era attacks, secure hardware and software supply chain verification, and real-time cyber situational awareness through multimodal data fusion. Understanding and mitigating these threats is paramount. Without robust defenses, space operations risk cascading failures with repercussions extending beyond orbit to terrestrial infrastructures and global security. As we look ahead to the evolving landscape of space exploration, artificial intelligence, and extended reality, several emerging trends and research directions promise to redefine how we secure, manage, and operate in space missions over the next decade. First of all, mainstream adoption of AI-augmented XR. The integration of AI with XR technologies is moving beyond experimental stages toward becoming foundational in operational environments. Advances in spatial computing, real-time sensor fusion, and natural user interfaces will enable fully immersive, context-aware command centers and astronaut interfaces, enhancing collaboration and decision efficacy. Second, enhanced multimodal sensing and semantic fusion. Future frameworks will leverage increasingly sophisticated multimodal sensors, combining visual, spectral, RF, physiological, and linguistic data to build comprehensive real-time situational awareness. Vision language models and other deep learning approaches will enable seamless fusion and interpretable understanding across these diverse data streams. Third, autonomous, explainable, and trustworthy AI. Trust remains paramount in human autonomy teaming. Future AI algorithms will prioritize explainability, auditability, and ethical alignment to ensure operators understand and can override autonomous decision. Quantum-resistant cryptographic AI models will safeguard communication integrity amid evolving threats. Fourth, distributed and edge AI in space. As latency limits direct Earth intervention, AI processing will increasingly occur onboard spacecraft and at distributed edge nodes within satellite constellations. This shift demands lightweight, energy-efficient AI architectures optimized for constrained environments without sacrificing reliability. Fifth, immersive training and digital twins. Digital twins combining physics-based models, live telemetry, and human cognitive states will enable immersive simulations for training, mission rehearsal, anomaly response, and system design validation. This approach promises to significantly shorten learning curves and improve operator preparedness. Sixth, advances in physiological and cognitive sensing. Next-generation biofeedback sensors, including non-invasive brain-computer interfaces and advanced neuroimaging, will deepen real-time insights into operator cognitive load, stress, and health, enabling more responsive adaptive interfaces and wellness monitoring. Seventh, integration across cross-domain systems. Future space operations will interconnect seamlessly with terrestrial, aerial, maritime, and cyber domains. Achieving trust and security in such heterogeneous environments calls for interoperable standards, resilient networking, and unified human-machine interface frameworks. Eighth, ethical, legal, and policy frameworks. As autonomous and AI-augmented systems take on greater mission roles, questions of accountability, safety, certification, and space traffic management will require international cooperation and policy development informed by transparent technical rigor. So, all that to say, these future directions encapsulate a rapidly evolving frontier where AI and XR converge to revolutionize space mission security and human performance. By investing in these areas today, we prepare the foundation for resilient, adaptive, and human-centric exploration of space tomorrow. Now, before I open up the floor for questions, comments, and concerns alike and for discussion, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to these amazing people. My co-PIs, Bo G and Brendan David John. Heartfelt thank you to them for all their help, active involvement, and unwavering support. The 4 grad students that are involved in this project. They inspire me, they keep me on my toes, and they are the reason why I wake up every single morning asking myself, how can I change the world today? Space Cyber HCI Edition. I may be 30 years old, but because of these guys, I feel under 21. And last but most certainly not least, my 2 best friends in the whole world. My PhD advisor, Laszlo Kish, who still actively mentors and guides me, not so much in the science anymore, but in life and career, and for providing a space for me to talk to him about literally anything and my latest trajectories in research, and to my husband, Theo Garcia, who through thick and thin, for being here for me, and for everything that he's done for me, for all his support, his sacrifices. Being married to a faculty member, in especially one in tenure track, is hard, but he pulls it off so amazingly, and I am forever indebted to him. This work, this talk, would not be possible without these amazing people. And in addition to that, thank you to Virginia Tech Center for Human-Computer Interaction, or CHCI, for providing the funding supports to carry out these efforts. And thank you, University of Maryland, for giving me this platform. It has been such a pleasure giving this talk. And with that, thank you again for tuning in. All of you who attended, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And it really means the world to me that you took time out of your day to hear me yap about Space Cyber HCI Edition. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me with questions, comments, and concern of which I would be elated to entertain.